The Nasdaq rose 1% and the S&P 500 also ended higher on Wednesday as Alphabet jumped after a U.S. judge ruled against breaking up the Google parent and as investors were optimistic that the Federal Reserve would cut interest rates this month. The Dow finished slightly lower with shares of Boeing down 2.1%. Alphabet and Apple gave the S&P 500 and Nasdaq their biggest boost. Let's go in depth with the recent updates on Apple and Google. As we can see from the S&P 500 website here, we're going to take a look at the US market and every stocks categorized by sector in the industry. We can see the size represents all the market cap. We're going to start with Apple also. Apple as of this morning is up by 3.81%. As we can see, as the update for Apple as of this morning is a greener than most of the other sectors within the S&P 500 currently. And for the Apple, we can say that it's not only Apple but also Google is also up by 9.02%, almost achieving two growth digit as of 4th September. And the latest and the recent updates about Google and Apple is Google won't have to sell its Chrome browser. A judge in Washington said on Tuesday, handing a rare with two big tech in its battle with U.S. antitrust enforcers, but ordering Google to share data with rivals to open up competition in online search. Google parent Alphabet's shares were up to 7.2% in extended trading on Tuesday as investors cheered the judge ruling, which also allows Google to keep making lucrative payments to Apple that antitrust enforcers said froze out search rivals. Apple shares rose 3%. Make sense of the latest ESG trends affecting companies and governments. U.S. district judge amid Meta also ruled Google could keep its Android operating system, which together with Chrome helped drive Google's market-dominating online advertising business. The ruling results from a 5-year legal battle between one of the world's most profitable companies and the U.S., where antitrust regulators and lawmakers have long questioned big tech's market domination. Meta ruled last year that Google holds an illegal monopoly in online search and related advertising, but the judge approached the job of imposing remedies on Google with humility, he wrote, pointing to competition created by artificial intelligence companies since the case began. Google faces a major threat from increasingly popular AI tools, including OpenAI's popular ChatGPT chatbots, which are already eroding Google's dominance. If allowed to access the data Google is required to share, AI companies could bolster their developments and chatbots, and in some cases, AI search engines and web browser. And as of this morning, we can see this is the recent updates about Google and Apple as of this morning. And we're going to move on to semiconductor updates, especially NVIDIA. First came the theft, then the epic PowerPoint fail. A software engineer stole confidential source codes, jumped ship to chip-making giant NVIDIA, and then accidentally shared the documents on a video call with his former colleagues. The theft and blunder led the man's prior employer, global automotive tech supplier Valeo, to file a trade secrets lawsuit against NVIDIA. Now, a federal judge in San Jose, California, has greenlit the case for trial in November, ruling that the jury must decide whether the chipmaker benefited from the pilfered information. Trade secrets have been called the lifeblood of Silicon Valley, and the case raises a thorny intellectual property question. Can NVIDIA, which claims it didn't want or use any of the stolen information, still be held liable for the rogue employees' misappropriation? And that is the recent updates of NVIDIA. And as of the morning, we can see NVIDIA is down by 0.09%. And now, the next update for one of the biggest company within the software infrastructure is Microsoft. It's up a little bit by 0.05%, and Microsoft has agreed to give U.S. agencies a discount on its cloud services. The General Services Administration said Tuesday as part of the administration's push to sign deals with tech companies for departments across the executive branch. The deal will save the U.S. government up to $3 billion in the first year, according to GSA and Microsoft. Reuters could not immediately verify that figure. As part of the agreement, the company will offer free access to Microsoft Copilot, its generative AI chatbox, to existing federal government users, according to the company. Agencies can also get lower prices on cloud products such as Microsoft Sentinel and Azure monitoring. And that is the recent update for some of the companies within the US market. And we have more updates, especially on the World Economic Forum, as we are catching what are top stories of the week right after this break.